What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday, and that means the House of Representatives is going to be finally, after a year of negotiations, taking up, and we're hearing passing, the reconciliation bill. And this has huge implications for legislation, stimulus, midterm elections. There's a lot hinging upon the passage of this bill. I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. This is your breaking news, stimulus check update, and stimulus package update. Now, not everybody is very happy about this. As a matter of fact, we're hearing only about 12% of the nation's population believes that the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 is actually going to decrease inflation. Most people and a lot of members of Congress and economists are saying they think that this is going to hurt the economy in a time when we've got 40-year high inflation. They're saying don't pass the bill. Also, this was the reconciliation stimulus bill, and there's no stimulus for people in it. They're saying this bill is no good. Take a look at this video clip and let me know your thoughts.
Well, first of all, since Biden came into office, if this bill passes, and I'm still holding out hope, Brian, the vote is tomorrow. If we can switch 3 or 4 Democrats, maybe there's somebody in the Democratic Party in the House who has some fiscal common sense. But right now, if they were to pass that bill, you're talking about almost $4 trillion. $4 trillion of new spending under Biden. That's an increase in our spending and our debt. That's almost as much money, Brian, as it costs to fight World War II. So these numbers are outrageous. This is going to make inflation much, much worse. You're basically taking a forest fire and dousing it with kerosene. And it is incredibly irresponsible. And by the way, why can't we just produce our American oil and gas and coal, where we get 70% of our energy, and drive down those prices so Americans don't have to pay $4.50 a gallon to fill up their tank?
So there you have it, you guys. Now, we're hearing that this is the sentiment of a lot of people right now, saying do not pass this bill. It's going to add to inflation, and it's not going to do anything for the American people. But looks like this is going to happen, and we're going to be seeing how this impacts inflation. As take a look at some of these headlines, you guys. House Democrats appear united, poised to pass the Schumer-Manchin social spending and tax bill. They're just calling it the Schumer-Manchin bill now. And take a look. Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, says U.S. House, they will pass the Inflation Reduction Act on Friday, tomorrow. And Pelosi is urging the House to pass the Biden Inflation Reduction bill as is, saying no amendments, no modifications. We're passing this through reconciliation. We do not want to slow down the process. Pass it as is. Now, we will see you guys because that is tomorrow, and we're hearing it's very likely this is going to make its way through. Now, I've been letting you guys know here on the channel, it's very likely this is going to pass, and once it does, there is so much contingent upon the passage of this bill. After this, we're hearing that all the stimulus provisions of the past that were missed out upon, progressives had wanted to see stimulus checks. Some had called for monthly reoccurring checks, child tax credits, Social Security increases, wiping out student loan debt, free childcare, free college tuition. All of these provisions, they've been dropped out of this reconciliation bill, and they've been set to the side. And a lot of people feel like Congress, Democrats who were in full control, have not kept their promises to the American people. We've actually heard this iterated by Bernie Sanders and several others to the president, saying, hey, you got to keep your promises to the American people. Well, you guys, we're hearing that these still might come to pass. As shared with you in a previous video, we just heard just a few days ago from Pramila Jayapal. After the reconciliation bill passes, there's going to be an assortment of executive actions coming from the president, and we're hearing the first of which is going to be addressing student loan debt and maybe wiping out $10,000, which was also a promise from the president when he ran his campaign. Now, we will see. I will keep you guys up to date, but I'm going to share with you the video footage coming out from Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi as she's going to be addressing what is going to be unfolding, then passing this bill and getting even more stuff done before these midterm elections. So let's go ahead and dive right in so you can see it for yourself. Now, before we do, also wanted to mention we're approaching 7,000 people now at www.reliefroadmap.com that have added their emails to be on the wait list to get ready for the comprehensive list of all stimulus checks. A lot of people think there's only federal checks or that you only get the state checks if you filed your taxes. That is not the case. There's state, city, and county checks going out all the time that people don't realize that they're eligible to receive. But if these different local government entities do not have your information, in many cases you got to apply. The window is only available for a limited amount of time, and you got to know about it. You got to be able to get the information, send it to them. And there's so many people we're hearing about that are eligible, and they're completely missing out, missing the window of opportunity, and the money that should have went to them is going back to the government. I don't want that to happen to anybody here on my channel. So if you have not already, please add your email email to www.reliefroadmap.com. Tell your friends and family. Make sure that everybody knows. I want to make sure that everybody can get everything that's available to them, because right now, in this time that we're living in, every little bit helps. So want to make sure that you guys can get access to that. And bear with me, I'm working on it. I know a lot of people are saying, when's it going to come out? I'm going to try to have it all ready for you before the 22nd. It's just quite the undertaking, hunting down some of these programs and having everything ready. So you guys, keep an eye out for that, but let's dive into the video footage of what's happening in Congress right now. We're hearing about the passage of this bill in the House tomorrow. Let's take a look at what the House Speaker has to say. But before we do me a quick favor. If you appreciate everything that we do here on this channel with the updates, smash that like button. Helps me out a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? Come join the Ram fam. All you got to do is very quickly hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Any specific questions for me, hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3, and also consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth, personal finance, businesses, real estate, stocks, how to deal with this recession, inflation. A lot of video content coming on there that I hope is a blessing to you, coming soon as well. But you guys, with that being said, let's dive into the video footage so you can hear it directly from Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. You guys, Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. She's saying they're optimistic, they're going to get it done, and they're actually going to finally pass this after over a year and a half of negotiations. And you guys, it's going to be tomorrow it goes through the House. Now, we will see. I will keep you up to date every step of the way. And as I mentioned, after the passage of this bill, we're expecting a lot of things to start unfolding as we get closer to these midterm elections. And I will update you on everything that happens. But with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button if you appreciate the updates. Helps out my channel a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? I'll let you know everything that's unfolding. I cite all my sources, put them on the screen, let you know it's the latest. All you got to do is very quickly hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3, and consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, where you can learn about growing wealth, personal finance, and if you haven't already, add your email to the waitlist at www.reliefroadmap.com. I'm assembling the comprehensive list of all checks on all levels so you don't miss out on anything. But with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me. I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.